Welcome back, YouTube. Renaissance back with G and J.
Back one more time.
We got a big one this weekend. 147-pound division championship fight between Special K. It's a Special K Kell Brook or Kell Brook Special K Kell Brook and Terence Crawford, who is now number one pound for pound after Lomachenko lost decisively to Teofimo Lopez. So this fight is this weekend. It was kind of short notice how it got announced because Terence Crawford was looking for other fights, but it is here. We won't go straight to prediction, but Jay, what you got on this fight? What you thinking about?
Let's just start with, because I would say the thing or the person that makes this fight a guaranteed barn burner is Kell Brook, to be honest. You know what I mean? With him
Special
being
K.
Special K. I mean, with him being a big, strong, tall welterweight, he's and somebody that's willing to bang and come forward with you and holds, but does it in a stylistic way where a referee's not going to stop him. You're going to see in close banging. You're going to see a lot of tricks and slips and all of that. So whether you're a novice fan or a real boxing nerd like us, you're going to enjoy it. So we know that off the gate, which, that makes it a seller. For me, being a fan of Southpaws, it really doesn't get any better than Terence Crawford, somebody that has every punch out of that particular style or stance. Then you add on to that, the exact same mirror precision in a conventional stance, which gives him twice the punch variation of every other fighter that's fighting. People don't even think about that part, but just the pedigree. You got a real dog in Crawford, where we know what he's capable of. We know he's a great boxer. We know he uses his range well. But when he either hurts you or you're willing to just stay there in the middle, he's going to bang with you, and it's going to be scary. And it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary for a specific reason, but we're going to get to that in a minute.
Okay. So, but we do got two dogs. That's what we do got.
Yeah.
We got two dogs. We got two dogs with at least decent level chins. Because last time I checked, when Kell Brook fought Triple G, I didn't see him just get, staggered or wobbled or knocked clean out. They stopped that fight. And when he fought Errol Spence, I didn't see him get staggered or really put to the ground. They stopped that fight and he took a knee. So you have a guy that can take some punishment. Now, can he take the rapid, punches that he will get from Terence Crawford, seeing that he hasn't fought anyone at this skill level in a while? To be honest, that's the only real question. And looking at the welterweight division, that's the only real question I have. If I have a fighter that's fighting Terence Crawford when Terence Crawford isn't really proven, I'll be going that fight confident. Oh, you a big welterweight? You've been fighting other great welterweights. You've been banging on the inside and didn't even get stopped or slowed down. Oh, you can take this little skinny guy. But going into late rounds, like you said, Terence is a dog. It's almost like he's fighting at the same pace that he was fighting in the first couple rounds. So it's like, and maybe it's a stamina issue. Like maybe he's more conditioned than you fighters. And I would go into this fight being ready to fight, like I was fighting Pacquiao. I'm going to late rounds. This dude is going to probably throw 100 punches at me and be able to still move and still have the same level of punching power. So that's the only thing I'm really. Mm-hmm.
Just piggybacking on what you're saying, it's a guarantee that he's in better shape than you. And here's when I figured that out. When I figured it out. Just like we look at MMA fighters when they start out as boxers, they have a really good stand-up game, and they're more technically sound as a whole, even when they go into other styles of fighting. On the flip side of that, when you start out in wrestling and come to boxing, your stability, your natural level of strength, and just all-around aggression is going to be more natural and greater than most of your opponents. He has a level of stability and torque on his punches that I haven't seen, honestly, in this generation. I haven't seen it in probably a decade or two.
No, you're. I've been seeing some things. His is like a football player or a basketball player that play multiple sports. We look at quarterbacks now, and these quarterbacks are way better at their at they're way better at their jobs because they play other sports, primarily baseball. They were not just baseball players; they were really good as baseball players. They were going to be, drafted pretty high going into the MLB, like Kyle Murray, like Justin Fields that plays for Ohio State. Aaron Rodgers was a baseball player. Russell Wilson was a baseball player. And then you have someone that's wrestling, a sport that it's a sport that you're supposed to engage with the person. There's no hit and not get hit. It's called lock up now. Let's get popping. And he has that dog. And with that being said, yeah, I can. Number one, I believe in his balance. I believe in um his body control. I've heard about him on the basketball court. I heard he's a dog. I heard about some other guys. He handed L's to out there that are boxers or other people within the celebrity realm that he handed L's to in the basketball court. So it's obvious that he's a multi sport athlete, and it shows similar to Roy Jones that he can use his body in ways that are unconventional in boxing. And so yeah, he's conditioned like a mug, and that's something that's actually something I'm scared of if I have a fighter that I'm rooting for going into that fight. But Kell Brooks game plan, go ahead.
That also lends itself to leverage, because here's my thing when we talk about Kell Brook, really in any situation, in any fight. Big body, knows how to use it. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to waste energy. He's going to make you waste energy by leaning on you while you hold in the clinch or whatever. Now, usually we would say Kell is going to either manhandle or kind of control the physical situation of that particular engagement. I don't know if he's gonna do that to Terence. Like, there's been situations where we said somebody was gonna do that to Terence, and we have not seen it. Nobody, even people that are bigger than Terence, has ever done that to him.
I usually see it not happen because Terence Crawford has more stamina. Like, sure, power and girth at the time of engagement, I see people pushing him around just a bit or not having to work as hard as he does. It's just that they tire, and by the time they tire, he has a reserve tank with some power. I've seen him deadlift. I've seen him do some crazy stuff, and I'm sure a lot of fighters at 147 are not doing these things. But if anybody would be doing some heavyweight lifting, it'd be Kell. I've seen Kell work out one time, and he does not play. He does not play. The way his body looks at 160 is the same way his body looks at 154. It's the same way his body looks at 147. The dude is doing something in the gym. He looked like he was in shape before this fight was even called. He looked like he was walking around at 180 pounds solid. Just
Kell might be the most well-conditioned welterweight fighter we've ever seen. Like, I don't know if we ever seen a welterweight this chiseled this consistently.
He looks like Marvin Hagler looked at 160. That's what he looked like.
Nah, like you look more chiseled up. He looked more chiseled than that.
It's just wrong. So I heard.
I'll say he has more mass, but it's still.
Oh, yeah, he probably could have hung in there with I wouldn't have a few rounds. I saw his interviews recently this week, press conferences. He's about to be on top of Terence. He's about to be all on Terence. And I mean, if he fades in the late rounds, he will get stopped. But we will have something to say about those early rounds with Terence Crawford. Dude is coming to party. And he can box, and he can punch, and he's sturdy. If Terence dominates him, yes, we can attribute it to layoff. Yes, we could attribute it to him not fighting the same level of fighters. But just knowing Kell, I mean, it's some fighters that you just don't count out just because they had a layoff. Some people that dedicate themselves to the sport on a routine basis and doesn't have huge injuries. Pacquiao, he come with the program. Floyd gonna come. I don't care if he's 60 years old. It's gonna be hard to beat him, right? There's gonna be some fighters that come in that ring and it's gonna come to party. Kell Brook seemed like that type of dude to me. He coming. He gonna have similar to the same level of speed. He gonna have similar to same level of power. We already know how intelligent of a boxer he is, and he's gonna have the same level, if not more, determination. The one big thing I'm worried about is that his trainer split with him, or they split ways during COVID. So his regular trainer is not training him during this fight. I don't even know who the guy is. I don't even know who he is.
We didn't know his original trainer either. So I mean,
Well, his original trainer was in the same camp with the Carl Froches and the rest of a lot of the European fighters or the English fighters that came out of there. Who was the Billy Joe Saunders? Huh?
You can't tell me his name though.
No, I don't know his name. No, don't know his name. But I don't know a lot of the Mexican fighters trainers either. But they call
we used to though.
Well, Leo Santa Cruz father can get busy. I didn't know Robert Garcia's father until someone told me Robert Garcia's father trained him and then trained Fernando Vargas and trained he might have been in the camp with Jose Luis Castillo and he trained Mikey Garcia. There's a long lineage of Mexican fighters that were under there. I didn't know
my favorite down there.
What Nacho Beristain?
Nacho Beristain.
Right. And actually he's good because I remember before Juan Manuel Marquez came onto the scene, he had a brother named Rafael Marquez that had these wars with this other guy that was all over TV. They was getting with it and he had the same style. So that's one thing I'm worried about. But what I do know is for them I know the first 5 rounds is going to be on. It's going to be on. Errol Spence was losing that fight first 5 rounds against Kell Brook. Triple G got hurt more than I ever seen him get hurt. To be honest, to the chin, it's the hardest I've ever seen him get hit by Canelo or the guy that just fought Jamal Charlo. That's the most, Sergey Jerenyevchenko. That's the most I've ever seen Triple G hurt or even moved by a punch was when he got hit by Kell Brook. And then
coming too fast. Yeah, that was the fastest fighter either of them fought.
Yep. Sean Porter wasn't walking through them punches. Sean Porter wasn't walking through nothing. He was getting toe up. He beat again.
Well, hold on. Kell was doing an ungodly amount of holding, but I don't blame him.
Right, he was holding, but he didn't look uncomfortable. He didn't look like, oh man, he roughed me up. He just said, "Let me hold you, little dude. Let me hold you," and he just bullied him. He bullied him, and it's like, coming to this fight, how many times did he lose decisively? He only lost twice, and they were due to him giving. So, I have Terence Crawford winning. But them early rounds is on. I think by round 5, he's gonna be losing the fight, and I think he's gonna take over late.
Okay, so let's look at some of this. Let's look at some of the stats, and then I'm gonna give you the stat that makes me lean on this one. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we've already got it out the way that this is, about for the WBO championship or WBS championship. So Crawford is 33 years old, standing 5'8"
Right.
Kell Brook, 34 years old, standing 5'9". Right. But here is the big difference. Crawford has a 74-inch reach.
Damn.
That's ridiculous. Kell Brook has a 69-inch reach. 5 inches.
Inside game. Yep.
On a gunslinger?
And that's why I say early fight, inside fighter has to work harder, and he's going to cause a lot of frustration and excitement. But later rounds, your feet are not going to move as well. A guy with longer reach is going to be able to sit on. A guy with longer reach is going to be able to sit on the outside and tear you up if you don't have the same level of stamina that guy has in them later rounds. So that is a good point. Floyd, one of my favorite fighters, who could keep people on the outside, only had a 72-inch reach. This guy has a 74-inch reach. Yeah. So again, I have the first couple rounds like tight.
Hold on. Let's key back in on that 74 inches. I don't think people understand. For those of you out there that are watching us, your reach is supposed to be, or usually on average is what your height is. To be 5'8" and have 74 inches is what, 6 inches over average. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And we thought Floyd's reach was ridiculously over average. Have we seen anything like this outside of what Postal? But Postal was tall as hell too.
Postal, Tommy Hearns, even for his height, he had long reach. It's like a Kawhi Leonard thing. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Your hands go down to your knees when you're standing up straight type stuff. I ain't got time for all that, man. So I think we do agree that Terence Crawford will win, but this is gonna be a damn good fight. It's gonna
What's
be
your
a damn
percentage
good fight.
though? What's your percentage? What's your lean?
It's 80-20. I really think Terence is gonna win. I really think Terence is
Oh,
gonna
you think
win.
you got a dog in there? Okay.
No, I said it's guaranteed. I just don't think he can stay close enough to him to hurt him. Because even if Terence gets in trouble, I know he's smart enough to say, all right, I'll get on the bike a little bit. So
Right.
he's not going to be able to keep up with him on that bike for 12 rounds. And I know Terence has more fights on the horizon that he wants to fight in. He only has so many fights that he's agreeing to even do before the end of his career. So I don't think he wants to just put it all on the line to lose right now and risk not getting, his big money fights. So
Right.
when it gets close and dirty early on, he'll say, I'll do little things that hurt you. I'll take some of these punches. Something goofy might happen, a cut or a knockdown, but I don't think Kell's not young enough to pull it out to where he can completely stop him or keep up with him with 12 rounds. But it will be good. And it's going to make him vulnerable enough that more people going to call him out, more vulnerable enough that the fight is more exciting so people want to watch it, more vulnerable enough for people to demand that he fight the people we want him to fight next.
Oh, and before we get out of here and get too sidetracked, since we're talking about Kell Brook's physique, I've seen some pictures, and Terence Crawford, his physique looks probably the best I've ever seen it right now.
Yeah, like I said, he was doing that deadlifting and stuff. This gave him too much time to really bulk up for the division. So the other people that didn't fight him yet, he pretty much just gave him more time to get used to the division, which is not good. So again, I got Terence Crawford winning this fight. We're gonna watch it Saturday. We'll do a post-fight review probably right after the fight.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Renaissance, we out. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share the video. Comment as well. Renaissance, we out.